Hello, it's Tom again. I have another helpful tip for the do-it-yourselfer in the suburbs. And today we're going to deal with a rodent problem. I already have. You're going to learn how to deal with it. When I came home from the hardware store today, I noticed coming out of that hole, I had this stick with that bushy crap and a shredded piece of fabric hanging out of it, which means I had rodent activity. And you see that bit of fencing on there is part of my solution. It's called a one-way, and this one is a homemade one-way. It'll allow a rodent to leave, but not get back into the hole. To do this, the tools you'll need would be a cordless drill or impact. A pair of linesman pliers are my preferred pliers. Diagonal cutters, a tape measure if you want specific measurements. I do. And I wear some light leather gloves because we're deliberately creating sharp objects, not just dealing with sharp edges where we want sharp edges on this one. And this is a scrap piece of wire fencing I had sitting in my shed from last year, which is good for blocking rodents. So, a little bit about this area of my house. It's it's a little stoop at the front porch, and that channel back there, all last summer chipmunks were going in and out of it. I was trapping them in a Havahart and then putting them down. Havahart seem to be the best chipmunk trap I've come across so far. Not that I've gone through a whole lot of different experiments, but I think I caught like 35 or 40 just with Havaharts. Now, this little hole, I don't think that's actually big enough for a chipmunk. Now, I get deer mice in the area, and every spring, summer, and fall, and I trap those. And so maybe that's where mice were going in. And what I did to block the entrance but still allow anything that's in there to get out is I get 2 Phillips head screwdrivers, 2 fender washers, and my piece of wire fencing. And I wrap that wire fencing around both sides. And since I had a lip here, I kind of wrapped around the corner, and at the base, I left the pointy bits there too. Now, I notched the fencing there so it would sit flush against the cement top of the porch, and I left an inch and bent it out at this wire. That was my line, and then I bent the pointy bits I created inward. I'll try to get you a good shot there so you can see how it bows out and then the points curve back in. So that should let a rodent climb out of the hole, but when it goes back in, it'll come up to the sharp edges and it will stop trying to go back in because it can't do so without hurting itself. Now, to deal with actual rodents and killing them. This is a rat trap, but it's of a variety that lets you set it safely and keep your fingers out of the trap zone. I find most decent rat traps can potentially break a finger, so I like the safer set models when you can use them, but they are kind of expensive. However, plastic holds up better outside than wood. There's pros and cons to them. This is my outdoor Mousetrap Box. I use that to keep squirrels and chipmunks from stealing the bait when I'm trying to kill off the deer mice. So I've hinged that box, I've got a mousetrap screwed down, baited and set, and I've got a 7/8 inch hole entrance on both sides. So when the mouse goes in, it comes in and it goes head first right at the trigger. I have never had a mouse successfully steal bait from that trap. Just a little hook and eye on the front to hold it closed, a hinge on the back, and I use linseed oil, on boiled linseed oil or teak oil. Either one works, on wood that's going to be outside. I use it on these mousetrap boxes, and I use it on bird houses. And they last years and years. I just re-oil it once a year. And here is the Havahart trap, loaded up with bird seed. Now, like I said, very effective. Caught a lot of chipmunks with it last year. You'll see I set the trigger off center, so it's really a hair trigger. A little nudge will set it off. Remember, that is your locking bar there. Do not forget to set the locking bars when you set this trap. I've done it many times, and unfortunately that's how they get away. And then they realize it's a trap, and it just creates problems. You'll notice I have my entrance right near the wall. You know, it can come out. I left a trail of bird seeds for it to follow to get into the trap. On this side, yeah, I've got a little bit of bird seed in with the peanut butter inside the rat trap. I've got a small trail of bird seed going to that entrance. And you'll notice both of these traps are set to the wall because rodents like to keep at least one side of their body against a wall. It gives them protection from predators, at least from one direction, or in the case of a corner, from two directions, and they're safer that way. It's just how their behaviors evolved, I guess. So there you go, one-way trap to keep the rodents from getting back in. After I'll say 2 weeks, if I don't see any more rodent activity and I get some things dead in the traps, I'll probably fill the upward piece of siding with caulk, and I'll fill that chipped out piece of concrete with some mortar. Bye.